Now, first thing first, what is Facebook ads CPM? Cost per 1,000 impressions. So technically, this is the real cost that you're paying when you're running Facebook ads. So every 1,000 times they show your ad to your audiences that you're targeting, you get charged a block. So I mean, it's a moving block, right? Sometimes it gets higher, sometimes it gets lower. So don't really get obsessed too much about the CPM, in my opinion. But there are people who are obsessed about CPM. So basically, the best way to reduce CPM is first test different objectives. Certain objective gets you lower CPM. Certain objectives tend to have higher CPM, such as, like, for example, if you compare traffic objective, let's say if you're driving people to your website, e-commerce website, traffic objective tend to have lower CPM. But if you optimize for sales, let's say if you choose the sales objective, it might have higher CPM. However, what I want to warn you here is lower CPM may not mean higher quality audience. Sometimes it's really about what kind of audience that works better. So let's say, for example, if you have a campaign, slightly higher CPM, but everything is doing good, the CTR is good and all that, the conversion is fantastic and all that, I would say it's really about running the ads and testing different maybe approaches and audiences, but the objective may not be something that you want to change. But if you really have a very crappy sales campaign and all that, you can consider testing with traffic objective and whatnot. First, to bring the CPM down, because that allows you to reach more people. But having said that, that may not get you the result. It's really about monitoring and observing and, like, seeing what's working, what's not working to really have you take the next decision. Because frankly speaking, CPM, like I mentioned just now, it's not the only metric that you should be focusing on, because there are other things like low CPM may get crap in, right? So rubbish in, rubbish out in the campaign. So that's really not something that I would recommend. So the second thing you can try to do to try to bring down the CPM is to really, target a broader audience. In a way, it might help to a certain extent, because technically when you're targeting a broader audience, meaning they have more people in the pool itself for Facebook to find and reach them. So it's a lot easier to reach them then. So the cost might be going lower and lower. So these are the two things that you can do. But having said that, I mentioned just now, if you run ads on Facebook, yes, CPM is important, but this is how I would actually analyze. This is my methodology when I'm analyzing. First thing first, I'll look at the cost per result. So if the cost per sales is actually very expensive, but it's driving sales, so that means actually the campaign is working. So yes, if the CPM is one of the factors that is contributing to the higher cost, then we try to look at other things if there's other things that we can try. Let's say if CPM is on the high side, but the CTR is on the low side as well. Say if our benchmark is 1%, your CTR link click is about like 0.4. So what we can do is we can try to optimize the creative and copywriting to try to bump the CTR to see whether we are able to, even though the CPM is high, but when the CTR increases, that means you get more clicks or more actions from the audience. That might help you get more sales in return. So that's something that we can try to bump. Otherwise, if you look at the entire journey, maybe you might realize that, there are a lot of people landed on the website itself, but there are very, 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 very little add to cart. So, okay, now it could be the add to cart. Okay, so maybe we try to optimize the checkout process and see if there are any way that we can actually entice the audience to take the action in a more effective way by changing the color, changing the buttons and stuff like that. So that could be other things that you can do. Otherwise, it could be maybe the audience itself, right? When you have a lot of people coming to the website, but very, very, very little people adding to cart, that might mean your audience is wrong. So we actually can consider trying different sets of audiences to see whether we are able to stabilize. So as I mentioned just now, right, this is my train of thought as I'm analyzing the campaign. So there are many things we should look into instead of just the mere CPM itself. So that's what I really want to encourage all the Facebook advertisers around the world to really master these things. So if you need help, if you're running ads, you're trying to figure out, okay, now the CPM is high. Is there any other things that we can do to really optimize the campaign and stabilize it? I would then, invite you to scan this QR code. This will take you to my gig where you can pick a time, book a 30-minute Zoom call, buy me a dinner, then we can actually have a discussion on how to analyze your campaign. First, I will build a dashboard for you, uniquely for your business, right? So these are all the metrics that you should track and all that in sequence, and I'll analyze for you and with you. So basically, I'll teach you how to, make sense of the numbers and all that. And last but not least, I will build you a plan. Say, like, these are the 3 to 5 things that you should consider trying, to see whether we are able to bring the cost down, the few steps that you can actually try. It's like an action plan. But really, this is really probably one of the most important things that you should learn next. It's about analyzing. So if that's what you want, scan this QR code and let's have a quick discussion on how we can take a campaign to the next level.